Well, I feel guilt. I felt guilt for the last couple of years on a regular basis, partially as a caregiver, partially because my mom is so strong-willed and somehow maybe she doesn't mean to be, but she acts a little bit like a bully, like she's trying to control everything. And so she's making me feel guilty by the way she's saying either she doesn't believe that I have faith, either she doesn't have faith in me that I can do everything she thinks I need to do, or she maybe sometimes looks at me as a little kid. It's so weird. But the guilt that I have is I just can't always take every one of her phone calls, or I can't go do the shopping she wants me to do every single day. And I've got to let things pile up a little bit and then go help her and give the care that I need and let it pile up again. And in between, I had a lot of guilt, and I still do. And my wife counsels me on a regular basis. She tries to reinforce, you're doing everything you can possibly do and should do. But there is a lot of guilt, just feeling like I need to be doing more. My mom has more needs. How do I help her with all these things? I feel like a lot of times it's my, responsibility to help every one of these areas in her life when I know it's not.
So many caregivers end up reporting feeling guilt. I personally do not see guilt as a useful emotion. Some emotions, let's take curiosity, that's an emotion. It's a psychophysiologic urge that encourages us to explore. Fear, it causes us to do a scanning of where the threat might be, and it might get us to jump out of the road so we don't get hit by the truck. In other words, that emotion is very functional. Guilt tends to demotivate and take away from people. I like to keep and encourage people to keep guilt out here. I challenge them, what are you feeling guilty about? Most people don't do caregiving. You're doing caregiving. Okay, maybe you're not doing it in your subjective evaluation system as good as you think you should, but many people fall short of all kinds of things.
In terms of how people might feel guilt, one of the reasons people might feel guilt is that they're so torn. They have so many things as caregivers that they're managing and juggling and trying to sort through. Right? Not everyone had the flexibility that I was so blessed to have in terms of my job that allowed me to work from a hospital room or an emergency room or off-site for a month. So not everyone has that flexibility in their jobs. And so I think that in those situations, guilt can trickle in because people may feel that they're not there enough, or they're not doing enough, or they're not, right? So, and so how might people deal with that guilt? Again, recognize it, name it, put it out there, and then sometimes being okay with it, and then figuring out how you can perhaps make it actionable or change a course that maybe you want to make a change, do something different. But I think it's okay to have feelings, and whatever they are, to name those.
Like many caregivers, you may be feeling some guilt. We've built this bonus lesson to provide you with a reflection activity to think about how you might manage, recognize or identify, and take action towards those feelings of guilt to help lower them. The guilt meter shown here was designed to help you assess your levels of guilt around certain situations or experiences. This is just a note to say, this reflection activity is based on current research and therapeutic practices, but it is not meant to replace the care or advice given from medical professionals. This guilt meter is to be used as a tool. The word descriptions and levels may not reflect your range of guilt, and you may not experience these emotions in the sequence shown here. But, in general, where do you feel your guilt levels are? Take time to acknowledge your thoughts and feelings. They are valid. Number 1 on the meter means you are experiencing no guilt. That may be a reality for some caregivers, depending on where they are at in their journey. As we move to number 2, we see guilt that guides and subsides. This is guilt that guides you to fix or improve something. It typically goes away once you have completed the action, and it can help you recognize ways to improve. Guilt in the number 3 section starts to move towards unnecessary guilt, but it can still be managed well. It is typically guilt that comes from conflicting feelings and emotions. For example, feeling frustrated at your loved one while also knowing that you love them. If you start to move the meter to section number 4, this is where you will need to take some mindful action to resolve the guilt. This is guilt that is felt no matter what decision you are making, whether you are helping your loved one while putting your personal cares on the back burner, or while putting your caregiving duties on the back burner while you are attending to your personal cares. This guilt can be managed as you consciously make decisions as to how you will manage your time and responsibilities. When caregivers reach areas 5 and 6 on the meter, there is cause for concern. This is harmful or even toxic guilt. It will stop you from functioning in your life, from providing meaningful care, and oftentimes it makes you feel irritable or miserable. This is guilt that doesn't go away and leaves you feeling anxious or even depressed. This guilt can stem from things you can't control or change. On the next slide, we will cover some ideas of how you can manage these different levels of guilt. Step number 2 is to take action. You can complete this activity in your workbook. For each level where you feel guilt, read the action idea next to the box and then write out some ideas to help you reduce your guilt. It's important to understand that you likely won't be able to avoid all guilt while being a caregiver. Just remember to let the good guilt guide you and acknowledge the rest as unhelpful guilt that needs to be addressed.